So the second mode in the settings page is your brightness adjustment. Page 5, mode 2. Brightness adjustment is super useful because it largely affects your battery life and also your eye comfort or how visible your props are. So if you're in a really dark place, you're going to want to turn it down because it's like, whoa, those things are bright. Or maybe other people are reacting to the brightness. And the other is if you want to really shine on stage or in a situation where it's pretty bright out, you want your props to pop. So to adjust the brightness, you're going to enter adjust by holding the button and letting go when it blinks. And brightness always starts at level 1, and it blinks indicators to let you know what level you're at. So as it's going through its adjust cycle, it's blinking different numbers of times. Right now it was just blinking 3 times, 4 times. 4 happens to be the default brightness. Brightness adjust always starts at the lowest brightness because you don't want it to necessarily get brighter. If your battery's low, making the prop even brighter can cause the low battery mode to kick in early. And also if it's too bright for you already and you're trying to turn it down, you don't want it to have to go through the brightest level before it comes back around. So every time I enter adjust in page 5 mode 2, it's going to jump to brightness level 1 or level 1. Every other setting and every other mode starts its adjustment where it was instead of, so if I was at default level 4, it would start adjusting from default level 4. Not the case with brightness for the reason mentioned.
Right. So I use brightness adjust all the time, and I use what's called temporary brightness adjust. I tend to practice in 2 different ways. Sometimes I'm just practicing and training or juggling at a jam, and then on the other hand, I perform. And so I want either brighter clubs for my performances and dimmer when I'm practicing. And so I'm in brightness adjust right now. You can tell because it's blinking a certain number of times. And so I'm going to enter adjust. I'm going to turn them up. Let's say I've got a show to do. So I enter adjust, pressing until it blinks, and then it jumps down to level 1. Starts building up from there. There's 2 blinks, level 2. You can see that the brightness reflects the increased level. There's 4, and I'm going to go all the way at level 5. I select it now, and now I've temporarily chosen brightness level 5. And when I go back to my modes, it will reflect this brightness. So everything pops a little bit more. Brightness level 5 is beautiful, but the downside is that your runtime is going to be significantly reduced. Level
Way lower.
For clubs, and for clubs in particular, or any vision prop that's about equivalent to the size of a club, you're going to get about a 3-hour runtime on default level, which is level 4. When you kick it up to level 5, as an example, it's going to be about a 1-hour runtime. This varies a little bit mode by mode, but it's never going to be less than an hour. And so one of the great things about temporary brightness adjust is when I'm done performing, I can just turn my clubs off, and the original brightness level that I had saved will be what comes back on. You can see they're much less bright now.
Right, any adjustment to a setting, if you don't save it, will revert back to its previous adjustment once you turn your props off and back on again. If you want to save it, hold save, and it will retain it.
Yeah, and again, holding to save is the long press and hold through the 2 versions of off until it turns back on again, just like saving anything.